Beep beep, everybody. Hope you're all having a great day. Thanks for tuning in. Today we are going to pay respect to Major League Baseball players that passed away in 2022. I was thinking about just showing pictures of baseball cards to do this video, but I eventually decided to actually use real baseball cards. So I combed through my own collection and found many of them. But I didn't have cards for all of them, so over the last 4 months, I tried to find some and purchase some. The only exceptions were baseball cards that were in the high series of 1960s top sets because they were rather expensive. Even so, having said that, some players did not ever actually have a baseball card. And for those, I'm using photos that I found on Baseball Reference or the Society of American Baseball Research websites, which I believe most of the photos on those sites are in the public domain. As of February 15, 97 players passed away in 2022. If I become aware of any additional players after today, I will try and add them to a pinned comment below. Baseball Reference doesn't always seem to get information about a player's passing in a timely manner. And because there are going to be 97 players in this video, this is going to be a long one. So sit down and relax, and hope you enjoy it. So our first player that passed away was Mike Adamson, and here he is pictured on the left of his 1969 Topps rookie card. He passed away on May 7, 2022 at the age of 74. Played for the Baltimore Orioles from 1967 to 1969 as a pitcher. He compiled an 0-4 record across 11 games as both a reliever and starter with a 7.46 ERA. He played in the minor leagues from 1967 to 1971. Our next player is going to be Luke Allen. Here he is pictured on his 1998 Bowman card. Luke passed away on April 26, 2022 at the age of 43. He played for the Los Angeles Dodgers in 2002 and the Colorado Rockies in 2003. Pinch hitter and right fielder. He had 1 hit and 9 at-bats across 8 games. His only hit was a double off Kent Mercker. He played in the minor leagues from 1997 through 2008, including stints in the Mexican League and the Independent Atlantic League and Canadian American Association. Al Autry passed away February 25, 2022 at the age of 69. He played for the Atlanta Braves in 1976 as a pitcher. His only Major League Baseball game was as a starting pitcher against the Houston Astros, where he pitched 5 innings and gave up 3 runs. The Braves won that game, so Al got the win. He played in the minors for 10 seasons from 1969 to 1978. Pardon me while I straighten that out. Jim Bailey passed away October 13, 2022 at the age of 87. He played for the Cincinnati Reds in 1959 as a pitcher. He appeared in 3 games as both a starter and reliever, compiling an 0-1 record with a 6.17 ERA over 11 2/3 innings. He played in the minors from 1956 to 1960. And he was the brother of catcher Ed Bailey. Let's see if we can get that one to stay there. Our next player is Eddie Basinski, and he is pictured on the 1990 Dodgers Target card. I don't believe there was a baseball card issued during his playing career. He passed away on January 8, 2022 at the age of 99. He played for the Brooklyn Dodgers from 1944 to 45 and the Pittsburgh Pirates in 1947. He was a shortstop and second baseman. He played in 203 games, hitting .244 with 147 hits, and he was mostly known for his slick fielding. After 1947, he played in the Pacific Coast League through 1959, amassing 1,500 544 hits, and a .260 batting average, mostly for the Portland Beavers. Basinski was also an accomplished violinist. He was inducted in the Oregon Sports Hall of Fame in 1987, the Brooklyn Dodgers Hall of Fame in 1996, and the Pacific Coast League Hall of Fame in 2006. Our next player is Ed Balta, pictured here on his 1962 Topps card. Ed passed away on July 6, 2022 at the age of 87. He played for the St. Louis Cardinals from 1960 to 63 and the New York Mets from 63 to 64 as a pitcher. He compiled a 6-6 record, pitching in relief in 97 games with 11 career saves and an ERA of 4.35. Born in Cuba, his professional career extended from 1956 to 1974, including several years in the Mexican League. He was notable as the last big leaguer to pitch in the Polo Grounds, getting the final 3 outs in the Latin American Players game on October 12, 1963. He also pitched in the Mets' first game at Shea Stadium. Next is Larry Bitner, pictured here on his 1978 Topps card. Larry passed away on January 2, 2022 at the age of 75. He played for the Washington Senators in 70 to 71, Texas Rangers from 72 to 73, Montreal Expos from 74 to 76, Chicago Cubs from 76 to 1980, the Cincinnati Reds from 81 to 82, and he finished his career with the Rangers in 1983. He was an outfielder, pinch hitter, and first baseman. He played in 1,217 games, compiling a .273 batting average with 861 hits. Our next player is Ethan Blackaby. He is pictured here on his 1975 Phoenix Giants Circle K card. He did not have a card issued during his playing career. He passed away on January 16, 2022 at the age of 81. He played for the Milwaukee Braves in 1962 and 1964 as an outfielder and pinch hitter. He played in a total of 15 games, getting 3 hits and 25 at-bats. He played in the minors from 1961 to 1969. Later, he became general manager of the Phoenix Giants in the 1970s and 1980s and stayed involved with minor league baseball after that, and eventually became the spring training coordinator for the Arizona Diamondbacks in 1997. Our next player is Tommy Boggs, pictured here on his 1978 Topps card. Tommy passed away on October 5, 2022 at the age of 66. He played for the Texas Rangers from 76 to 77, the Atlanta Braves from 78 to 83, and then returned back to the Rangers in 1985. He was a pitcher. He pitched in 114 games, mostly as a starter, had a 20-44 record with a 4.22 ERA. After his career, he became head baseball coach of Concordia University in Austin, Texas from 2009 until his death, winning 325 games in 13 seasons. Carl Bowles is our next player. He's pictured on his 1963 Topps card here. Carl passed away on April 8, 2022 at the age of 87. He played for the San Francisco Giants in 1962 as a pinch hitter and left fielder. He played a total of 19 games, hit .375 with 9 hits and 24 at-bats. He played in the minors in 1954 and 1959 to 1964, and later played in Japan from 1966 to 1971, where he hit 117 homers in 6 seasons. Our next player did not have a baseball card issued during his career. This is Jim Bronstad. He passed away on April 9, 2022 at the age of 85. He played for the New York Yankees in 1959 and later the Washington Senators from 1963 to 64 as a pitcher. He pitched in 45 games, mostly as a reliever, compiling a 1-7 record with an ERA of 5.48 and 3 career saves. He played in the minors from 1955 to 1964. Our next player is Cal Browning. Passed away September 14, 2022 at the age of 84. He played with the St. Louis Cardinals in 1960 as a pitcher. He only pitched in one game in relief, giving up 3 runs and 5 hits in 2/3 of an inning. He played in the minors from 1957 to 1963. Our next player is Tom Browning, pictured here on his 1986 Topps card. Tom passed away December 19, 2022 at the age of 62. He pitched for the Cincinnati Reds from 1984 to 1994 and finished his career with the Kansas City Royals in 1995. He pitched in 302 games, almost all of them as a starter, compiling a 123-90 record with a 3.94 ERA. He was selected to the 1991 All-Star Game. He was second in Rookie of the Year voting in 1985 when he was the first rookie since Bob Grimm in 1954 to get 20 wins. He pitched a perfect game on September 16, 1988, the first in the National League in 23 years. He won his only World Series start in 1990 when the Reds swept the A's. Our next player is Bill Burbach, pictured here on his 1970 Topps card. Bill passed away on July 2022 at the age of 74. He played with the New York Yankees from 1969 to 1971 as a pitcher. He pitched in 37 games, mostly as a starter, compiling a 6-11 record with an ERA of 4.48. He played in the minors from 1965 to 1972. Our next player is Pete Burnside, pictured here on his 1961 Topps card. Pete passed away on August 26, 2022 at the age of 92. He played for the New York Giants in 1955 and 1957, and then when they moved to San Francisco, he played there in 1958. Then the Detroit Tigers from 1959 to 1960, the Washington Senators from 1961 to 63, the Baltimore Orioles in 1963. He pitched in 196 games, both as a starter and a reliever, compiling a 19-36 record with a 4.81 ERA. He had 7 career saves. He played in the minors from 1949 to 1958. And then he played in Japan from 1964 to 1965. Our next player is Chuck Carr, pictured here on his 1991 Fleer card. Chuck passed away November 12, 2022 at the age of 55. He played for the New York Mets in 1990 to 91, St. Louis Cardinals in 1992, the Florida Marlins from 93 to 95, the Milwaukee Brewers from 96 to 97, and the Houston Astros in 1997. He was a center fielder. He played in 507 games, compiling a .254 batting average with 435 hits and 144 career stolen bases. He led the National League with 58 steals in 1993 and in range factor for outfielders in 1993 and 94. From 1998 to 2003, he played in independent leagues, including 1 season in Taiwan and 1 season in Italy. Our next player is Frank Cipriani, pictured here on his 1962 Topps card. Frank passed away on June 7, 2022 at the age of 81. He played for the Kansas City Athletics in 1961 as a right fielder. He played in a total of 13 games, hitting .250 with 9 hits and 36 at-bats, and he played in the minor leagues from 1960 to 1966. Our next player is Gene Klein, pictured here on his 1978 Topps card. He passed away on January 27, 2022 at the age of 75. Played for the Pittsburgh Pirates from 70 to 74, the New York Mets in 75, the Rangers in 76, and the Chicago Cubs from 77 to 79. He was an outfielder and a pinch hitter. He played in 870 games, compiling a .277 batting average with 645 hits. He hit a career-high .334 in 1972. After his playing days, he was a coach for the Cubs, Astros, Mariners, Brewers, and Giants, and later as a minor league instructor, followed by a senior advisor for player development with the Dodgers. Our next player is Don Collins. Don passed away on May 22, 2022 at the age of 69. He played for the Atlanta Braves in 1977 and the Cleveland Indians in 1980. He was a pitcher. He pitched in 44 games, mostly as a reliever, compiling a 3-9 record with a 5.28, and he had 2 saves in his rookie season. He played in the minors from 1972 to 1981. Our next player is Bob Conley, pictured here on his 1959 Topps card. Bob passed away February 14, 2022 at the age of 88. He played for the Philadelphia Phillies in 1958 as a pitcher. He pitched in a total of 2 games, both as a starter, giving up 7 runs in 8 1/3 innings without a decision. He played in the minors from 1953 to 1960. Our next player is Jim Corsey, pictured here on his 1989 Topps card. He passed away January 4, 2022 at the age of 60. He played for the Oakland Athletics from 88 to 89, the Astros in 91, back to the Athletics in 92, the Florida Marlins in 93, again with the Athletics from 95 to 96, then the Boston Red Sox from 97 to 99, and he finished the 99 season with the Baltimore Orioles. He was a pitcher. He pitched in 368 games, all but one as a reliever, compiling a 22-24 record with an ERA of 3.25 and 7 career saves. He played in the minors from 1982 to 2000. Our next player is Julio Cruz, pictured here on his 1978 Topps card. Julio passed away on February 22, 2022 at the age of 67. He played for the Seattle Mariners from 1977 to 83 and the Chicago White Sox from 83 to 86. He played second base. He played in 1,156 games, finishing with a .237 batting average, 916 hits, and 343 stolen bases. He had a string of 6 consecutive seasons of 40 stolen bases and led the American League with a stolen base percentage of 85.8 in 1978 when he had a career-high 59 steals. He led American League second baseman with a fielding percentage of .987 in 1978. He did some coaching in the Mariners and Brewers organizations and was named Manager of the Year in 1997 in the Appalachian League. He was later a broadcaster for the Mariners and was inducted in the Hispanic Heritage Baseball Hall of Fame in 2004. John Cumberland is our next player, pictured here on his 1972 Topps card. John passed away April 5, 2022 at the age of 74, played for the Yankees from 68 to 70, the San Francisco Giants from 70 to 72, the St. Louis Cardinals in 72, and finally the California Angels in 1974 as a pitcher. He pitched in 110 games, mostly as a reliever, compiling a 15-16 record with an ERA of 3.82. After his playing career, he spent 23 years as a pitching coach with the Mets, Brewers, Padres, Red Sox, and Royals organizations. Our next player is Tommy Davis, pictured here on his 1974 Topps card. Let me get that straightened out. Tommy passed away April 3, 2022 at the age of 83. He had a long career playing for the Dodgers from 1959 to 66, the New York Mets in 67, the White Sox in 68, the Seattle Pilots in 1969, the Astros from 69 to 70. He played for 3 clubs that year, with the A's and the Cubs following up, and then returned to the A's in 1971, and then returned to the Cubs in 1972, followed by the Baltimore Orioles from 72 to 75, the Angels in 76, and the Royals in 1976 also. Played left field and third base. He played in 1,999 games, compiling a .294 batting average with 2,121 hits, 1,052 RBI, 811 runs. He was in the All-Star. He was selected for the All-Star games in 1962 and 63. He won National League batting titles in 1962 with a .346 and 1963 with a .326 batting average. He led the National League in hits in 1962 with 230 and RBI with 153, which is still a Dodgers franchise record, while scoring a career-high 120 runs. He led the National League in fielding percentage for left fielders in 1962 with .975 and 1964 .982. He batted .307 as a pinch hitter for his career. He later served as the batting coach for the Mariners in 1981. Our next player is Ike Di Napoli, pictured here on his 1959 Topps card. Ike died February 28, 2022 at the age of 92. He played for the Boston Red Sox from 52 to 53 and from 55 to 63, and finished his career that same season with the Orioles as a pitcher. He pitched in 329 games as both a starter and reliever, compiling an 84 and 75 record with a 4.03 ERA. His best seasons were in 1958, where he went 14-8 with a 3.38, and 1959, where he went 11-6 with a 2.95. He also had 31 career saves, including 11 in 1957. Our next player is Don Dillard. Don passed away January 8, 2022 at the age of 85. Played for the Cleveland Indians from 59 to 62, the Braves in 63 and 65 as a pinch hitter and outfielder. He played in 272 games, compiling a batting average of .244 with 116 hits. As a pinch hitter, he hit .270 over his entire career. He finished his career in the minors in 1967. Our next card is Denny Doyle, pictured here on his 1978 Topps card. Denny passed away December 20, 2022 at the age of 79. He played for the Philadelphia Phillies from 70 to 73, the Angels from 74 to 75, the Red Sox from 75 to 77. He was a second baseman. He played in 944 games, compiling a career batting average of .250 with 823 hits. His career high was .298 in 1975. He had a 22-game hitting streak in 75 that helped the Red Sox clinch the American League East. His brother, Brian Doyle, was a second baseman with the Yankees. Okay. Okay, pardon the pause. I had to get my phone ready to show the next photo. This is George Elder, who passed away July 7, 2022 at the age of 101. George played for the St. Louis Browns in 1949 as a pinch hitter, pinch runner, and left fielder. In his only season, he played in 41 games, hitting .250 with 11 hits and 44 at-bats. He played in the minors from 1947 to 1950. Prior to his baseball career, he served in the Marines during World War II and fought in the Battle of Iwo Jima. Just prior to his death, he was Major League Baseball's oldest living major leaguer, oldest surviving combat veteran, and oldest surviving St. Louis Browns player. Our next player is John Ellis, pictured on his 1978 Topps card. John passed away April 6, 2022 at the age of 73. He played for the Yankees from 69 to 72, the Indians from 73 to 75, and finished his career with the Rangers, playing for them from 1976 to 1981. He was a first baseman and a catcher. He played in 883 games, batting .262 with 699 hits. He became the first designated hitter in Cleveland Indians history in 1973, and in 1982 he became a scout for the Texas Rangers. Our next player is Dick Ellsworth, pictured here on his 1967 Topps card. He passed away October 10, 2022 at the age of 82. Played for the Chicago Cubs in 58, and then from 1960 to 66. And then he went to the Phillies in 1967, the Red Sox from 68 to 69, the Cleveland Indians from 69 to 70, and the Milwaukee Brewers from 70 to 71. He pitched in 407 games, primarily as a starter, compiling a 115 and 137 record with a 3.72 ERA and had 1,140 career strikeouts. He was selected for the 1964 All-Star Game, and his best season was in 1963, when he went 22-10 with a 2.11 ERA and 185 strikeouts, which surprisingly followed a 20-loss season in 1962. Ellsworth is only one of 6 pitchers to have followed a 20-loss season with a 20-win season since 1920. Our next player is Maurice Fisher, and here is a photo of Maurice. He passed away May 13, 2022 at the age of 91. Played for the Cincinnati Reds in 1955 as a pitcher. He pitched in 1 game, giving up 2 runs and 5 hits in 2 2/3 innings of relief, walking 2 and striking out 3. He played in the minors from 1949 to 1956. Our next player is Tom Flanagan. Tom passed away December 8, 2022 at the age of 88. He played for the Chicago White Sox in 1954 and the St. Louis Cardinals in 1958. He was a pitcher. He pitched in a total of 3 games, all of them in relief, giving up 1 run in 2 2/3 innings for a 3.38 ERA. He played in the minors from 1952 to 1958. Our next player is Ken Frayling, which is up here on this card. Ken passed away August 25, 2022 at the age of 74. He played for the Chicago White Sox from 72 to 73 and the Cubs from 74 to 76. He was a pitcher and pitched in 116 games, mostly as a reliever, compiling a record of 10 and 16 and an ERA of 3.96 with 2 career saves. Including the minor leagues, his pro career lasted from 1966 to 1978. Our next player is John Gamble, pictured on the 1974 Topps card right up here in the upper right. John passed away September 1, 2022 at the age of 74. He played for the Tigers from 72 to 73 as a pinch runner and shortstop, playing in a total of 13 games, but only had 3 hitless at-bats. He scored only 1 run as a pinch runner. He played in the minors from 1966 to 1976, where he hit .264 with 941 hits over 1,049 games. Our next player is George Gerberman, and this card is from the 1983 Frisch one-year winners. George passed away January 7, 2022 at the age of 79. He played for the Chicago Cubs in 1962 as a pitcher. His only Major League Baseball game was as a starting pitcher against the New York Mets, pitching 5 1/3 innings, giving up 3 hits, 1 run, walking 5, and striking out 1. The Mets won the game, so he got a no decision. He played in the minors from 1961 to 1968. Our next player is Jeremy Giambi. Jeremy passed away February 9, 2022 at the age of 47. He played for the Royals from 98 to 99, the Athletics from 2000 to 2002, the Phillies in 2002, and the Boston Red Sox in 2003. He was an outfielder, DH, and first baseman. He played in 510 games, compiling a .263 batting average with 372 hits. His best season was in 2002 when he had a career high of 20 homers, 414 OBP, and 505 slugging. He was the brother of Jason Giambi. This card is from the 2000 Victory set, which was issued by Upper Deck. Our next player is David Green. This is him pictured on his 1984 Topps card. David passed away January 25, 2022 at the age of 61. Played for the Cardinals from 1981 to 1984. The San Francisco Giants in 1985, and then returned to the Cardinals in 1987. He was an outfielder and first baseman. He played in 489 games, compiling a .268 batting average with 374 hits. His best season was in 1983, where he hit .284 and had a career-high 10 triples. He hit a career-high 15 homers the following season. He played in Japan in 1986 and continued playing in the minors up through 1991 with some stints in the Mexican League. Prior to his professional career, he played for Nicaragua, where he was born, in the 1978 Amateur World Series and the 1978 Central American and Caribbean Games. Okay, our next player is Bill Harrington. Bill passed away January 21, 2022 at the age of 94. Played for the Philadelphia Athletics in 1953 and then moved with them to Kansas City, where he played from 55 to 56 as a pitcher. He pitched in 58 games, almost all of them as a reliever, compiling a 5-5 record with a 5.03 ERA, and he had 3 career saves. He played in the minors from 1949 to 1961, including a 20-7 record for the Birmingham Barons in 1958, in which he won the Southern Association's MVP award. Our next player is Buddy Harris, pictured here on his 1971 Topps rookie card. He's the player on top. Buddy died November 5, 2022 at the age of 73. He played for the Houston Astros from 70 to 71 as a pitcher, pitching in a total of 22 games, all as a reliever, compiling a 1-1 record with a 6.32 ERA. He played in the minors from 1968 to 1974 with his last stop in the Mexican League. Harris was from Philadelphia and graduated from Roxborough High School. Our next player is Ray Herbert, pictured here on his 1964 Topps card. Ray passed away December 20, 2022 at the age of 93. He played for the Detroit Tigers from 50 to 54, the Athletics from 55 to 61, the White Sox from 61 to 64, and the Phillies from 65 to 66, all as a pitcher. He pitched in 407 games, mostly as a starting pitcher, compiling a 104 and 107 record with an ERA of 4.01. His best season was in 1962, where he went 20-9 with a 3.27 ERA. He got the win in the second 1962 All-Star game for the American League by pitching 3 scoreless innings. In 1963, he led the American League with 7 shutouts. He also led the American League in 1960 with 55 assists as a pitcher and double plays turned as a pitcher in 58, 60, and 62. From 1967 to 1992, he was the Tigers' batting practice pitcher at home games. Our next player is Rudy Hernandez, pictured here on his 1961 Topps card. Rudy passed away November 23, 2022 at the age of 90. He played for the Washington Senators from 60 to 61 as a pitcher, pitching in 28 games, all as a reliever, compiling a 4-2 record with a 4.12 ERA. He played in the minors in 1954 and from 57 to 64. Rudy was the first Dominican pitcher in the majors just 2 weeks before Juan Marichal joined the big leagues. Our next player is Dave Hillman, pictured here on his 1960 Topps card. Dave passed away November 2022 at the age of 95. Played for the Chicago Cubs from 55 to 59, the Red Sox from 60 to 61, the Reds in 62, and the Mets in 1962. He pitched in 188 games, split between starting and relieving, compiling a 21-37 record with a 3.87 ERA. Our next player is Joe Horland, pictured here on his 1963 Topps card. Joe passed away April 10, 2022 at the age of 84. Played for the White Sox from 61 to 71 and finished his career in 72 with the Athletics. He pitched in 361 games, chiefly as a starter, compiling a 116 and 117 record with a 3.11 ERA. His best season was in 1967, where he went 19-7 and led the American League with a 2.06 ERA. That same year, he was selected to the All-Star game, came in second in Cy Young Award voting and fourth in MVP voting. His career best ERA was in 1964 when he had a 1.88, but this was second in the league to Dean Chance's 1.65. His ERA was under 3.00 for 5 consecutive seasons from 64 to 68, for 2.32, which led all American League pitchers for those 5 years. After retiring, he became a minor league pitching coach and instructor for several organizations. Our next player is Wilbur Howard, pictured here on his 1978 Topps card. Wilbur passed away December 17, 2022 at the age of 73. He played for the Astros from 73 to 78 as an outfielder and pinch hitter, playing in a total of 466 games, compiling a .250 career batting average with 267 hits. His best season was in 1975 when he hit .283 and stole 32 bases. Including the minors and 4 seasons in the Mexican League, his professional career lasted from 1968 to 1983. Our next player is Jeff Innes, pictured here on his 1991 Topps card. Jeff passed away January 30, 2022 at the age of 59. He played his entire career with the New York Mets from 87 to 93, pitching in 288 games, almost entirely as a reliever, compiling a 10-20 record with a 3.05 ERA. His 76 appearances in 1992 set a Mets club record that was broken in 1999 by Turk Wendell. Our next player is Calvin Jones, pictured here on his 1993 Topps card. Calvin passed away February 12, 2022 at the age of 58. He played with the Seattle Mariners from 91 to 92, all as a pitcher. He pitched in 65 games total, almost entirely as a reliever, compiling a 5-7 record with a 4.33 ERA. He played in the minors from 1984 to 1996, then played in Taiwan for 3 seasons, followed by seasons in the Mexican League and the Independent Atlantic League, finishing his career in 2002. After his playing career ended, he became a scout for the Dodgers, with his biggest signing being Clayton Kershaw. Our next player is Fred Lasher, pictured here on his 1970 Topps card. Fred passed away February 27, 2022 at the age of 80. He played for the Twins in 63, then the Tigers from 67 to 70, the Indians in 1970, and the Angels in 1971. He pitched in 151 games, almost entirely as a reliever, compiling an 11-13 record with a 3.88 ERA. He had 22 career saves. Our next player, I have to get the photo ready for him. Oh, I passed one of them. I'm sorry. let's go back. I overran one of them. I'm trying to do this in alphabetical order. This is George Kernick, who passed away August 14, 2022 at the age of 82. He played for the St. Louis Cardinals from 65 to 66 as a first baseman, playing in 30 games, hitting .259 with 21 hits and 81 at-bats. He played in the minors from 1961 to 1970. And our next player, is Carl Linhart, who passed away January 4, 2022 at the age of 92. He played for the Tigers in 1952 as a pinch hitter and pinch runner. He played in a total of 3 games and only had 2 at-bats with no hits. He played in the minors from 1948 to 1956, chiefly as an outfielder, compiling a .284 average with 70 home runs in 810 games. Linhart was one of 3 major league players born in the former Czechoslovakia or its pre-1918 territories. Our next player is Mark Littell, pictured here on his 1978 Topps card. Mark passed away September 5, 2022 at the age of 69. He pitched for the Royals in 73 and then from 75 to 77 and finished his career with the St. Louis Cardinals, pitching from 78 to 1982. He pitched in 316 games, almost entirely as a reliever, compiling a 32-31 record with an ERA of 3.32. He had a career 56 saves, including a career high of 16 with a career best 2.08 ERA in 1976. In 1978, he struck out 130 batters in 106 1/3 innings. In 1981, he gave up the hit to Pete Rose that allowed Rose to pass Stan Musial for the National League career record for hits. After his playing career, he was a minor league pitching coach for several organizations. He was inducted into the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame in 2016. Our next player is Bob Locker, pictured here on his 1974 Topps card. Bob passed away August 15, 2022 at the age of 84. He played for the White Sox from 65 to 69, the Seattle Pilots in 69, the Brewers in 1970, the Athletics from 70 to 72, and the Cubs from 1973 to 75. He pitched in 576 games entirely as a reliever, compiling a 57-39 record with an ERA of 2.75. He had 95 career saves, including a career high of 20 in 1967, which was second place in the American League. His career best also was that year with a 2.09, and he led the league in appearances with 77. Our next player is Hector Lopez, pictured here on his 1959 Topps card. Hector passed away September 29, 2022 at the age of 93. He played for the Kansas City Athletics from 55 to 59, and then the Yankees from 59 to 1966, chiefly as a left fielder, but also played third base, second base, and at one time or another had played all infield and outfield positions except for catcher and pitcher. He played in 1,450 games, compiling a .269 batting average with 1,251 hits and 136 career homers. He hit .286 in 5 different World Series from the Yankees from 60 to 64, including driving in 7 runs in the 1961 series. After his playing days, he became the first black manager of a AAA club, the Buffalo Bisons, in 1969. He later scouted for the Giants and Yankees and coached in the Yankees minor league system. Lopez was the second Panamanian-born player to make it to the big leagues. He managed the Panama national baseball team in the 2009 World Baseball Classic. Our next player is Tommy Matchik, pictured here on his 1969 Topps card. Tommy passed away January 4, 2022 at the age of 78. Played for the Tigers from 67 to 69, the Red Sox in 1970, the Royals in 1970, and the Brewers in 1971, followed by the Orioles in 72. He played shortstop, third base, and second base, playing a total of 292 games, compiling a .215 batting average with 178 hits. Including the minors, he played from 1962 to 1976, and was named the top All-Star in the International League 4 times. Our next player is, I got more than one card there, Bob Miller. Pictured here on his 1955 Topps card. And there were several Bob Millers playing at this time, and this is the one named Robert Gerald Miller. He passed away May 24, 2022 at the age of 86. Played for the Tigers from 53 to 56. Returned with the Reds in 62 and the Mets that same year. He pitched in a total of 86 games, chiefly as a reliever, compiling a record of 6-8 with a 4.72 ERA. He had one career save. He made his major league debut at the age of 17 and remains the youngest pitcher to start a game in Tigers history at the age of 18. After spending time in military service in 1957, he returned and played in the minors before returning to the big leagues in 62. While Bob was playing, there were two other Bob Millers in the big leagues at that time. All three of them were pitchers, and Bob ironically roomed with one of them while they were both on the 62 Mets. Our next player is Charlie Naranjo. Charlie passed away January 13, 2022 at the age of 88. He played for the Pittsburgh Pirates in 1956. In his only season, he pitched in 17 games, mostly as a reliever, compiling a 1-2 record with a 4.46 ERA. He played in the minors from 1952 to 1961, and he also played many years in the Cuban Winter League and was a native of Havana, Cuba. Our next player is Al Niger, pictured here on his 1961 Topps card. Al passed away October 3, 2022 at the age of 83. He played for the Phillies in 1960. In his only season, he pitched in 6 games, all as a reliever, giving up 8 runs in 12 2/3 innings for a 5.68 ERA. He played in the minors from 1959 to 1963 and was named to the University of Delaware Athletics Hall of Fame in 2002 and the Delaware Sports Museum and Hall of Fame in 1984. Our next player is Ed Olivares. Pardon the bumping into the phone there. Ed passed away October 14, 2022 at the age of 84. He played for the Cardinals from 60 to 61 as a pinch hitter, outfielder, and third baseman. He played in a total of 24 games, getting 5 hits and 35 at-bats for a 143 average. He played in the minors from 57 to 66, hitting .277 with 140 homers in 914 games. He was the MVP of the Carolina League in 1960. He is the father of Omar Olivares, who pitched from 1990 to 2001 in the big leagues. Our next player is Odalis Perez, pictured here on his 2006 Topps card. Odalis passed away March 10, 2022 at the age of 43. He played for the Braves from 98 to 2001, the Dodgers from 02 to 06, the Royals from 06 to 07, and the Washington Nationals in 2008. He pitched in 252 games, chiefly as a starter, compiling a 73 and 82 record with a 4.46 ERA. His best season was in 2002, where he had a 15 and 10 record with a 3.00 ERA and career highs in complete games, shutouts, innings pitched, and strikeouts. He was named to the All-Star game and pitched 1 inning, giving up a single unearned run while striking out 2. He became the first pitcher ever whose first major league win came in the postseason in the 1998 National League Division Series when he was with the Braves. Our next player is Gaylord Perry, pictured here on his 1974 Topps card. Gaylord died December 1, 2022 at the age of 84. He played for the San Francisco Giants from 62 to 71, the Indians from 72 to 75, the Rangers from 75 to 77, the Padres from 78 to 79. He returned to the Rangers in 1980 and split the season with the Yankees. Then the Atlanta Braves in 81, the Seattle Mariners from 82 and 83, and finishing up with the Kansas City Royals in 83. He pitched in 777 games, almost entirely as a starter, compiling a .314 and .265 record with a 3.11 ERA. His career rankings are 9th all-time for 690 games started, 17th all-time for 314 wins, 6th all-time with 5,350 innings pitched, 8th all-time with 3,534 strikeouts, tied at 16th with 53 shutouts. He was named to 5 All-Star games in both American League and the National League. He won the Cy Young Award in 1972 with the Indians and 1978 with the Padres, becoming the first pitcher to win the award in both leagues. He won 20 games 5 times, leading the league 3 of those times. He led the league in innings pitched twice and topped 300 innings pitched 6 times. He struck out over 200 batters 8 times. His best season was in 1972 with a 24-16 record and a 1.92 ERA, leading the league with 11 WAR. He was long thought of as throwing spitballs, but he was only caught once in 1982 in his 21st season. He also holds 1 batting record, most strikeouts in a season without collecting a single walk, where he struck out 47 times in 1970 without walking. He was elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1991. His brother Jim Perry was also a great pitcher. They were the first 2 brothers to have won the Cy Young Award. Our next player is Joe Pignatano, pictured here on his 1959 Topps card. Joe passed away May 23, 2022 at the age of 92. Played for the Brooklyn Dodgers in 57, and then the Los Angeles Dodgers from 58 to 60, Kansas City Athletics in 1961, the Giants in 1962, and the Mets in 1962. He was a catcher, played in 307 games, compiling a .234 batting average with 161 hits. He was later a coach with the Senators, Mets, and Braves. Our next player is Leo Posada, pictured here on his 1962 Topps card. Leo passed away June 23, 2022 at the age of 88. He played for the Kansas City Athletics from 60 to 62 as an outfielder, playing a total of 155 games, compiling a .256 batting average with 109 hits. He played in the minors from 1954 to 1969. He was a minor league manager from 68 to 78, and he's the uncle of Jorge Posada. Our next player is Milt Ramirez, pictured here on his 1971 Topps card. Milt passed away August 18, 2022 at the age of 72. He played for the Cardinals from 70 to 71 and the Athletics in 1979 as a shortstop, third baseman, and second baseman. He played a total of 94 games, compiling a .184 batting average with 28 hits. He played in the minors from 1968 to 1981 with 2 seasons in the Mexican League. Our next player is Jack Reed. Jack passed away November 10, 2022 at the age of 89. He played for the Yankees from 1961 to 63 as an outfielder and pinch runner. He played in 222 games, compiling a .233 batting average with 30 hits. His only major league home run was a game winner in the 22nd inning against the Tigers on June 24, 1962, which was the longest game in Yankees history. During his time with the Yankees, he was Mickey Mantle's defensive backup. He played in the minors from 1953 to 1961 and again in 1964. with a break in 56 and 57 for military service. He became a manager in the Yankees farm system from 1965 to 1967. Our next player is Win Remerswaw, pictured here on his 1981 Topps card. Win passed away July 24, 2022 at the age of 68. He pitched for the Red Sox from 1970 to 1980. He pitched in a total of 22 games, all in relief, compiling a 3-1 record with a 5.50 ERA. He played in the minors from 75 to 81. Win was born in the Netherlands. He played baseball for a couple Dutch teams, including their national team, which he helped win the 1973 European Baseball Championship against Italy. After 1981, he returned to Europe and played in the Italian Baseball League. Our next player is Ray Ripple Meyer, pictured here on his 1962 Topps card. Ray passed away September 9, 2022 at the age of 89. He played for the Washington Senators in 1962. In his only season, he pitched in 18 games, making one start and compiling a 1-2 record with a 5.49 ERA. He played in the minors from 1954 to 1965. From 1970 to 78, he was the Phillies pitching coach, convincing Steve Carlton to throw a slider, which he hadn't used in St. Louis, and helping Bob Boone transition from third base to catcher. After a 10-year break to manage his family's farm, he returned to pitching coach duties for several organizations in the minor leagues. Our next player is Vic Rosnowsky, pictured here on his 1969 Topps card. Vic passed away January 18, 2022 at the age of 83. Played for the Cubs from 64 to 65, the Orioles from 66 to 67, and the Philadelphia Phillies in 1969. He was a catcher and pinch hitter. He played in 205 games, compiling a .218 batting average with 99 hits. Including the minor leagues, his professional career lasted from 1958 to 1969. Our next player is Roger Samuels, pictured here on his 1988 Fleer Update card. Roger died January 17, 2022 at the age of 61. He played for the Giants in 1988 and the Pittsburgh Pirates in 1989. He pitched in 20 games, all in relief, compiling a 1-2 record with a 4.33 ERA. He played in the minors from 1983 to 1990. Our next player is John Sanders. John passed away February 3, 2022 at the age of 76. He played for the Kansas City Athletics in 1965 as a pinch runner. His only major league appearance was as a pinch runner on April 13, 1965. He played in the minors from 1964 to 68 as an outfielder. He led the Cornhuskers baseball program at the University of Nebraska from 1978 to 1997. And from 1999 to 2002, he served as a manager of the Red Sox rookie-level Gulf Coast League affiliate, and then was a scout for the Red Sox and the Dodgers. He was inducted into the Nebraska Sports Hall of Fame in 2002. Our next player is Mo Savransky. Mo died October 13, 2022 at the age of 93. He played for the Cincinnati Reds in 1954. In his only season, he pitched in 16 games, all in relief, compiling an 0-2 record with a 4.88 ERA. He played in the minors from 1948 to 1951, and again in 1955, serving in the military from 52 to 53. Our next player is Mark Schaefer. Mark passed away June 1, 2022 at the age of 73. He played for the San Diego Padres in 1972. In his only season, he pitched in 41 games, all in relief, compiling a 2-0 record with a 4.61 ERA, with one save. He played in the minors from 1966 to 1971. Our next player is Dick Schofield, pictured here on his 1969 Topps card. Dick passed away July 11, 2022 at the age of 87. He played for the Cardinals from 53 to 58, the Pirates from 58 to 65, the Giants from 65 to 66, the New York Yankees in 66, and then the Dodgers from 66 to 67, the Cardinals again in 1968, then the Boston Red Sox from 69 to 70, and then he didn't finish, but he played the following season again for the Cardinals, and he finished that season with the Milwaukee Brewers. He played shortstop, second base, and third base. He played in 1,321 games over 19 seasons, mostly as a utility player, compiling a .227 batting average with 699 hits. Schofield's son, Dick Schofield, played from 83 to 96, and he's also the grandfather of Jason Worth, who played from 2002 to 2017. Our next player is Ted Schreiber, pictured here on his 1991 Mets WIZ card. Ted passed away September 8, 2022 at the age of 84. He played for the New York Mets in 1963 as a third baseman, shortstop, second baseman, and pinch hitter. In his only season, he played 39 games, getting 8 hits and 50 at-bats for a .160 batting average. He played in the minors from 1959 to 1965. Schreiber made the last out in the last regular season game at the Polo Grounds, grounding into a double play. Our next player is Costin Shockley, pictured here on the right with Pat Corrales on his 1965 Topps card. Costin Shockley passed away May 30, 2022 at the age of 80. Apologies, the dog, if you can hear, is barking. He played for the played for the Phillies in 1964 and the Angels in 1965 as a first baseman. He played in 51 games, compiling a .197 batting average with 28 hits. He played in the minors from 61 to 64, leading the Pacific Coast League in home runs with 36 in 1964. He was named to the Delaware Sports Museum Hall of Fame in 1998. Our next player is Bill Short. Pictured on his 1960 Topps card. Bill passed away February 2, 2022 at the age of 84. He played for the Yankees in 1960, the Orioles in 1962 and 1966, the Red Sox in 66, the Pirates in 67, the Mets in 68, and the Reds in 69. He pitched in 73 games, mostly as a reliever, compiling a 5-11 record with a 4.73 ERA. He played in the minors from 1955 to 1969. He served for a few years as a minor league pitching instructor for the Pirates after his playing career. He was inducted into the International League Hall of Fame in 2009. Our next player is Curt Simmons, pictured on his 1965 Topps card. Curt passed away December 13, 2022 at the age of 93. He played for the Phillies from 1947 to 1960, Cardinals from 1960 to 66, the Cubs from 66 to 67, finishing the 67 season with the California Angels. He pitched in 569 games over 20 seasons, chiefly as a starter, compiling a .193 and .183 record with a 3.54 ERA. He pitched 3,348 in the third inning, striking out 1,697 batters. He had a career 36 shutouts, including leading the league in 1952 with 6. He was named to 3 All-Star games in 52, 53, and 57. His winningest season was in 1964 when he went 18-9, but his best ERA was in 63 with a 2.48. He had 9 seasons where he finished in the top 10 in ERA. He was inducted into the Pennsylvania Sports Hall of Fame in 1968, the Philadelphia Baseball Wall of Fame at Citizens Bank Park in 1993, and the Philadelphia Sports Hall of Fame in 2011. Our next player is Dwight Smith, Pictured here on his 1989 Topps Traded card. Dwight passed away July 22, 2022, at the age of 58. He played for the Chicago Cubs from 89 to 93, the Angels in 94, the Orioles in 94, and the Braves from 95 to 96. He was an outfielder and pinch hitter. He played in 813 games, compiling a .275 batting average with 497 hits. His rookie year in 1989 was his best season, where he hit .324 and was second in Rookie of the Year voting. Including the minors, his professional career was from 1984 to 1998. Several times in his career, he sang the national anthem. I was unable to find evidence of any other baseball player doing this. He was the father of Dwight Smith Jr., who played from 2017 to 2020. Our next player is Jerry Snyder. Jerry passed away January 31, 2022, at the age of 92. This is his 1957 Topps card. He played for the Senators from 1952 to 1958 as a shortstop and second baseman. He played 266 games, compiling a .230 batting average with 145 hits. Including the minors, his professional career spanned from 1947 to 1961. His 1957 Topps card is his only baseball card, and it actually has a picture of Ed Fitzgerald in it. That's not actually Jerry Snyder on the card. In 2006, he signed reprints of the card inserted in packs with his name and wrote under it, "This isn't me." Our next player is Marv Stahl. I hope I pronounced that right. He's pictured on the right here with Tommy Agee on the 1966 Topps card. He passed away September 30, 2022 at the age of 80. He played for the White Sox from 64 to 67, the Expos from 69 to 70, and the Braves in 1971. He was a second baseman and pinch hitter. He played in 185 games, compiling a .207 batting average with 94 hits. He played in the minors from 1960 to 72, hitting .286 with 1,286 hits. Our next player, and I apologize, this is the best picture I could find. It is very low resolution, but this is Joe Staton. Passed away June 20, 2022 at the age of 74. He played for the Tigers from 72 to 73 as a pinch runner and first baseman. He played a total of 15 games, hitting .211 with 4 hits and 19 at-bats. He played in the minors from 1970 to 73 and 2 seasons in the Mexican League in 1974 and 1975. Our next player is John Stearns, pictured here on his 1978 Topps card. John passed away September 15, 2022 at the age of 71. He played for the Philadelphia Phillies in 74, then played the rest of his career with the Mets from 1975 to 1984 as a catcher. He played in 810 games, compiling a .260 batting average with 696 hits. He was selected to 4 All-Star games in 77, 79, 80, and 82. In 1978, he set the modern National League record for steals by a catcher with 25. That was later broken by Jason Kendall. After his playing career, he was variously a scout, coach, or manager for several organizations in the minors, in addition to being a coach at the major league level for the Orioles and later the Mariners. Our next player is Bruce Sutter, pictured here on his 1977 Topps rookie card. Bruce passed away October 13, 2022 at the age of 69. He played for the Chicago Cubs from 76 to 1980, the Cardinals from 81 to 84, and the Braves from 85 to 88. He pitched in 661 games, all of them in relief, compiling a 68-71 record with a 2.83 ERA and 300 career saves. He led the league in saves 5 times, including a career high of 45 in 1984, which at that time tied the major league record set by Dan Quisenberry the year before. He was named to 6 All-Star games and was credited with wins in the 78 and 79 contests, plus saves in the 1980 and 81 contests. He won the Cy Young Award in 1979, becoming only the 3rd relief pitcher in history at that time to win it. Mike Marshall and Sparky Lyle preceded him. At the time of his retirement, his 300 saves were the 3rd most in Major League Baseball history, behind Rich Gossage and Raleigh Fingers. He was elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame in 2006, becoming the first pitcher in the Hall who had never started a game. Our next player is Willie Tasby, pictured here on his 1960 Topps card. Willie passed away April 3, 2022 at the age of 89. He played for the Orioles from 58 to 60, the Red Sox in 60, the Senators from 61 to 62, and finished his career with the Indians from 62 to 63. He played center field. He played in 583 games, compiling a .250 batting average with 467 hits, including the minors, and 1 season in the Mexican League. He played from 1950 to 1965. Our next player is Ralph Terry, pictured here on his 1967 Topps card. Ralph passed away March 16, 2022 at the age of 86. He played for the Yankees from 56 to 57, the Kansas City Athletics from 57 to 59, returned to the Yankees and played with them from 59 to 64, followed by the Cleveland Indians in 65, the Kansas City Athletics again in 1966, and the New York Mets from 66 to 67. He pitched in 338 games, mostly as a starter, compiling a 107 and 99 record with a 3.62 ERA. He finished his career with exactly 1,000 strikeouts. His best season was in 1962, where he had a 23 and 12 record and a 3.19 ERA, leading the league in wins and innings pitched and being named to both All-Star games that year. He led the league in complete games in 1963 with 18, which was a career high. He was known for giving up Bill Mazeroski's game-winning homer in Game 7 of the 1960 World Series, but he got redemption for that loss by tossing a 1-0 shutout against the Giants in Game 7 of the 1962 series to give the Yankees the win. After his playing career, he became a professional golfer, competing in 106 PGA events, having 5 top 10 finishes in his career. He was inducted into the Kansas Sports Hall of Fame and the Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame. Our next player is Lee Thomas, pictured here on his 1968 Topps card. Lee passed away August 31, 2022 at the age of 86. He played for the Yankees in 61, the Los Angeles Angels from 61 to 64, the Boston Red Sox from 64 to 65, the Braves in 66, the Cubs in 66 and 67, and the Astros in 1968. He was a right fielder and first baseman, played in 1,027 games, compiling a .255 batting average with 847 hits and 106 career homers. His best season was in 1962, when he hit .290 with 26 home runs and 104 RBIs and was named to both All-Star games. He played 1 season in Japan in 1969. After his playing career, he became director of player development for the Cardinals from 1980 to 88 and general manager of the Phillies from 1988 to 1997, winning the Sporting News Major League Executive of the Year award in 1993. Our next player is Tom Urbani, pictured here on his 1994 Topps card. He died September 28, 2022 at the age of 54. Played for the Cardinals from 93 to 96 and the Tigers in 96. He pitched in 81 games as both a reliever and a starter, compiling a 10-17 record with a 4.98 ERA. Including the minors, his professional career spanned from 1990 to 1998. In 1990, he played in Italy, leading the league with 12 wins and a 1.35 ERA, and threw a perfect game, one of only 5 in that league's history. He also helped Italy earn a silver medal in the 1999 European Championship. Our next player is Julio Valdez. Julio passed away July 24, 2022 at the age of 66. Here he is pictured on his 83 Topps card. He played for the Red Sox from 1980 to 83 as a shortstop and second baseman. He played in 65 games, compiling a .207 batting average with 18 hits and 87 at-bats. He played in the minors from 1976 to 1988. After his playing career, he managed several Dominican Summer League teams affiliated with major league clubs. Our next player is Fred Valentine. He is pictured here on his 1968 Topps card. Fred passed away December 26, 2022 at the age of 87. He played for the Orioles in 59 and 63, the Senators from 64 to 68, returned to the Orioles in 1968. He was an outfielder. He played 533 games, compiling a .247 batting average with 360 hits. His best season was in 1966, where he hit .276 with 16 homers and 22 stolen bases. Including the minors, his professional career spanned from 1956 to 1969. He played in Japan in 1970. Our next player is Anthony Varvaro. And this is his 2008 Bowman Chrome Prospects card. He passed away September 11, 2022 at the age of 37. He played for the Seattle Mariners in 2010, the Atlanta Braves from 2011 to 2014, and the Red Sox in 2015. He pitched 166 games, all in relief, compiling a 7-9 record and a 3.23 ERA. Including the minors, his professional career spanned from 2006 to 2016. After baseball, he became a police officer for the Port Authority of New York. He died in a car crash while on his way to provide security for a ceremony commemorating the September 11 attacks. Our next player is Gail Wade. Okay. Gail passed away January 16, 2022 at the age of 92. He played for the Chicago Cubs from 55 to 56 as a center fielder. He played a total of 19 games, compiling a .133 batting average with 6 hits in 45 at-bats. He played in the minors from 1947 to 1961, hitting .280 with 1,442 hits. Next up is Pete Ward, pictured here on his 1969 Topps card. Pete passed away March 16, 2022 at the age of 84. He played for the Orioles in 1962, the Chicago White Sox from 63 to 69, and the New York Yankees in 1970. He was a third baseman, left fielder, and first baseman. He played in 973 games, compiling a .254 batting average with 776 hits and 98 career homers. His best seasons were in 1963, where he hit .295 with 22 homers and 84 RBIs, and 1964, where he hit .282 with 23 homers and 94 RBIs. He was second in Rookie of the Year voting in 1963, but did win the Sporting News Rookie of the Year award. After his playing career, he was a minor league manager and coached for one season with the Braves in 1978. He was inducted into the Oregon Sports Hall of Fame, the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame, and the Chicagoland Sports Hall of Fame. Our next player is David West, pictured here on his 1991 Topps card. David passed away May 14, 2022 at the age of 57. He played for the Mets from 88 to 89, the Minnesota Twins from 89 to 92, the Philadelphia Phillies from 93 to 96, and the Boston Red Sox in 1998. He pitched in 204 games, both as a starter and reliever, compiling a 31 and 38 record with a 4.66 ERA. His best season was as a middle reliever in 1993, having a 6-4 record with a 2.92 ERA. Including the minors, his professional career spanned from 1983 to 1999, and he pitched in Japan in 1997. Our next player is Stefan Weaver. Stefan died December 27, 2022, at the age of 64, he played for the Yankees in 1982. In his only major league game, he was the starting pitcher, pitching 2 2/3 innings, giving up 6 hits, 9 runs, walking 3 and striking out 2, and getting the loss. He played in the minors from 1979 to 1985, and he was the pitcher of the year in the Southern League in 1982. Our next player is Dave Wickersham, pictured here on his 1969 Topps card. Dave passed away June 18, 2022 at the age of 86. He played for the Kansas City Athletics from 60 to 63, the Tigers from 64 to 67, the Pirates in 68, and the Kansas City Royals in 1969. He pitched in 283 games, both as a reliever and starter, compiling a 68-57 record with a 3.66 ERA. His best season was in 1964, going 19-12 with a 3.44. He was one of only 4 players to play for both the Kansas City Athletics and the Kansas City Royals. He was inducted into the Pennsylvania Sports Hall of Fame in 1989. Our next player is Gerald Williams, pictured here on his 1994 Topps card. Gerald passed away February 8, 2022 at the age of 55. He played for the Yankees from 92 to 96, the Brewers from 96 to 97, the Braves from 98 to 99, the Tampa Bay Devil Rays from 2000 to 2001. He returned to the Yankees for 2001 and 2002, went to the Marlins in 2003, and finished his career with the Mets from 2004 to 2005. He played 1,168 games, compiling a .255 batting average with 780 hits and 85 career homers. His best season was in 2000, where he hit .274, had a career high of 21 homers, 30 doubles, 173 hits, 89 RBIs, and 87 runs scored. Our next player is Maury Wills, pictured here on his 1981 Fleer card. Maury passed away September 19, 2022 at the age of 89. He played for the Los Angeles Dodgers from 59 to 66, the Pirates from 67 to 68, the Expos in 69, and then finished his career with the Dodgers from 69 to 72. He played shortstop and third base. He played in 1,942 games, compiling a .281 batting average with 2,134 hits, 1,067 runs scored, and 586 career stolen bases. He had 7 seasons of stealing 40 or more bases and led the National League in steals from 1960 to 65, including setting the modern record of 104 in 1962, surpassing Ty Cobb's 96. This was later broken by Lou Brock in 1974. He was only caught stealing 13 times that season, had a career-high 208 hits, scored a career-high 130 runs, led the National League with 10 triples, and with a 3-game playoff against the Giants to break a tie for the NL pennant, he set the Major League Baseball record for most games played in a season with 165. He narrowly beat out Willie Mays for the MVP award. He was named to 7 All-Star games and won 2 Gold Gloves. He briefly managed the Mariners in 1980 and 81. He was an accomplished banjo player, and he appeared on 1 episode of the TV series Get Smart in 1969. He was the father of Bump Wills. Our next player is Gordy Windhorn, pictured on his 1962 Topps card. Passed away May 21, 2022 at the age of 88. Played for the Yankees in 59, the Dodgers in 61, the Kansas City Athletics in 62, and the Los Angeles Angels in 62. He was an outfielder, pinch hitter, and pinch runner. He played in 95 games, compiling a 176 batting average with 19 hits and 108 bats. He played in the minors from 1952 to 1963, hitting .291 with 1,256 hits. He also played in Japan from 1964 to 69. And the last player is Johnny Walkenfuss, 'n' Fuss, pictured here on his 1978 Topps card. Johnny Walkenfuss, pictured here on his 1978 Topps card. Passed away May 21, 2022 at the age of 88. Played for the Yankees in 59, the Dodgers in 61, the Kansas City Athletics in 62, and the Los Angeles Angels in 62. He was an outfielder, pinch hitter, and pinch runner. He played in 95 games, compiling a 176 batting average with 19 hits and 108 bats. He played in the minors from 1952 to 1963, hitting .291 with 1,256 hits. He also played in Japan from 1964 to 69. And the last player is Johnny Walkenfuss, Johnny passed away August 19, 2022 at the age of 73. He played for the Tigers from 1974 to 1983 and the Philadelphia Phillies from 84 to 85. He was a catcher, first baseman, and outfielder. He played in 795 games, compiling a .262 batting average with 543 hits. He later managed in the minor leagues. He was inducted into the Delaware Sports Hall of Fame in 1993. So this concludes our video honoring the Major League Baseball players that passed away in 2022. So rest in peace, fellas. Thanks for giving us all these years of enjoyment watching you playing. Take care, everybody. Hope you all have a great day. Beep, beep, everyone.